Hey, and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Amazon Prime Video's original new series, The Bondsman. Non-spoiler review, of course, so let's jump in. Resurrected bounty hunter Hub Halloran gets an unexpected second chance at life, love, and his nearly forgotten musical career, only to find that his old job now has a demonic new twist. So the stars Kevin Bacon, Jennifer Nettles, Beth Grant, to name but a few, but those are mainly the main protagonists, and comes from creator who's done mostly shorts and a few writing projects. So this really is kind of the first foray into a TV series quite like this. And if you're looking for what to expect when watching this, if you're a fan of Supernatural, there is a heavy leaning into, it's the family business sort of storyline with the supernatural elements, monster of the week beating the monster of a week, but then an overarching story. That's kind of what you get in here, but then mix in a little bit of Ash versus the Evil Dead, literally a chainsaw sequence in one of the episodes, as well as the TV series that Movies and Munchies reminded me of called Evil. There's a bit of a mixture of helping from a little bit of all of those. It does try to be its own thing where the bondsman, is the initial protagonist. Then we have Kevin Bacon, who dies at the beginning brutally, and then he's resurrected as in the synopsis. And we see him trying to find a loophole or a way out of the thing that he's now in trouble with, as well as trying to get his family back. Now, I think Kevin Bacon is great at his job, the role he's been given. But I also think he's a very hard character to relate to. He's not a very nice character in this series. He doesn't come across as a guy that seems like you would trust with anything. And I think because of that, for me, a lot of the time while watching this, I was not really rooting for him. I was rooting for him in the terms of I like his family. So we have Jennifer Nettles, who plays Marianne Dice, and Beth Grant, who plays Kitty Halloran. Kitty Halloran is his mother. So even though he's been resurrected, the type of person he was, he lent all into his work, but he wasn't a particularly nice guy, and that hasn't changed. There's a trajectory of trying to teach our character to learn something, but essentially for me, I didn't feel like he was learning enough for me to be rooting for him. The characters I was rooting most for in this series was his family, and hoping that they don't get roped up into his mess. So because of that, I found it very hard to root for Kevin Bacon's character. But the series doesn't outstay its welcome. It's only 30 minutes apiece, and each episode is almost a single hunt for the most part. There's a couple that cross over, so we see them get the initial kind of information about the hunt. They gather their information, trying to hunt down the demon, and then we have the action sequence. And it is pretty damn gory. Expect a lot of gore in really creative ways and really gross ways when it comes to the action sequences. And then in between that is the family drama, the guy that is now with the wife who is obsessed with him, who's also a bad guy that you would love to hate, played by Damien Harriman. He plays Lucky Callahan. There's a couple of other actors I want to mention. Maxwell Jenkins, who plays Cade Halloran. I think he plays the son fairly well. When it comes to the family dynamics, we don't get much with the wife and son, and I think I would have cared more for them or cared more for their plight if the story unpacked a little bit more of their storylines. Unfortunately, because of the brisk pace in the 30-minute episode, there isn't a lot there. It very much follows the formula of that, let's find out the information of the latest monster and then hunt them as we go. The special effects when it comes to the monster are fine, but they're very played by the numbers. At least like with series like Ash vs. the Evil Dead or Supernatural, they were really creative with the type of monsters and the lore they were going for. It does feel like the story is trying to be a little bit fast in its story and pacing as well, because they get to like a big major arc and something that would take Supernatural probably 3-4 seasons and 22 episodes in each season. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does help the pacing and does help you stay engaged. Jolene Purdy, who plays Midge, she's one of my favorite characters, probably second to third favorite character in this series. I was instantly rooting for her. It's kind of like the opposite of the Kevin Bacon character. Here I understood why she did what she did. She ends up in a similar kind of circumstance to Kevin Bacon's character, but I really understand why she ended up there. Like, I probably would have done the same thing. So it makes sense. But when it comes to the family dynamics, I like the moments that we get to see them. The drama does play out well with the scripting, and the story kind of lends itself to the chaos. There is a little bit of like the cops trying to find out who are killing all these people, not knowing that it's like a demon world now. And that is a trope that I think doesn't necessarily need to be in the stories. I guess it does help to further the pacing somewhat. This is my wheelhouse, man. I love these type of stories, especially the supernatural element. I feel like this series is starting to find its footing, especially for the latter half of the season. The first half were a bit ropey for me. The second half is finding its footing, leaves us on a massive cliffhanger. I hope it gets picked up so we can see it end up being as good as some of like the Ash versus the Evil Dead and Supernatural, you know, some of those latter seasons in Supernatural 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are really great. They're good TV, well written, and I'd love them to be a bit more creative with the monsters. What we do get with the monsters is creative in the human form, the supernatural elements, some pretty gross moments, but the CGI is again a bit ropey when we see the demon form. So, you know, this is kind of what I expected for this series. I was hoping for a little bit more because I had a few people tell me that they really, really loved this, and I think it's fine. So I'm going to give it 3 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
Klaatu, Miranda.
Let me know your thoughts and feelings about this down below. I love watching Kevin Bacon in anything really, so I enjoyed watching him on screen, but I didn't feel much for his character. In fact, I felt negativity towards his character because I just thought he's a character that is written not to grow. He's kind of a douchebag and, you know, hard to root for that, especially when they're the main protagonist. So you're wondering who you're rooting for, so you find the people that you connect with. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below once you've seen all the episodes, or, you know, maybe you gave it a try and didn't like it. Let me know, what is your favorite supernatural, with, you know, no pun intended, supernatural-esque procedural episode of the week, monster hunting, killing episode of the week? You know, in that genre, in that wheelhouse, what's your favorite? I'd love to know. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.